Hi, I'm Chef John Politte. This is It's Only Food.
These rappers don't listen, well let me show them something. You hear that beat bumping from the soul kitchen. Now what you fixing up? Good food, soul food, come and pick it up. These rappers don't listen, well let me show them something. You hear that beat bumping from the soul kitchen. Yeah, now what you fixing up? Good food, soul food, come and pick it up. Hey yo, I never been so paid that I could forget. All I could remember is the po days, not a damn thing in that.
Alright, today we are making a tater tot hot dish. We're going to start out with some ground beef, some chopped onions, chopped celery. Got some flour here, green beans, we got our corn, some milk, tater tots of course. We'll have our Worcestershire, some special seasoning. We'll have our chicken base. And we have salt and pepper and fresh garlic. Here's our equipment. We're going to use a pot to cook the stuff in. Got a garlic clove crusher, a spoon, and a disposable pan because we don't want to do dishes here today. Then of course our stove and oven. Alright, we're going to grind off the, or cook off the ground beef. Chop it up real good here in the pan. Get a little bit of oil in there just to get it going, a little bit of olive oil. We're just going to chop it up a little bit to get it cooking a little faster. Do this on about a medium-high heat, medium to medium-high. Of course, you want to take your celery, get that in the pan first with the beef, because you want that to soften up a little. Don't forget the bay. And of course, your chopped onions. Get your aromatics and your celery in there, let them cook. Mix it all up together. Oh, gotta have the garlic clove in there. Then we're going to crush the garlic clove in this lovely crusher. It's a nice thing to have around. You can crush your garlic clove in there and it leaves the skin. Well, you get the pulp out. When the skin comes in and it's still in there, you can just take that right out with all the good garlic goes right into your dish. Of course, you're going to mix all this up, let it cook. It takes about 15-20 minutes. You want to cook that ground beef thoroughly. Make sure your vegetables are soft, or at least semi-soft, because this dish is going to go into the oven, so it'll cook some more too. Now look, we've got our raw beef is on that spoon. We want to make sure we're not going to serve this when it's done, okay, with that same spoon. So next thing we're going to do, I think, is we're going to add just a little bit of some salt and pepper. Get right on in there. A little more pepper. Of course, some magical seasoning salt made for a certain chef we all know. Pour that right on in there. Like a seasoned salt chili rub. And we're just going to mix that all up with our spoon. It's still dirty. Still got bacteria in there. Little E. coli. That'll all cook out though when it gets into the oven. And the ground beef gets cooked. Alright, we've got our ground beef pretty much cooked off. You see all that fat sitting there bubbling in the bottom down there. And we're going to add our flour to this to make a roux. That'll thicken it up and turn it into a soup-like substance. Thick, chowdery soup-like substance. Of course, they do use the cream of mushroom soup as ubiquitous in this recipe all over Minnesota and North Dakota. We'll just stir that up. Now you can wipe everything down, make it look good. And we got our roux is cooking in the dish. You can see it in there at the bottom of the pan and all around the sides. How that cooks, that flour is cooking in with that fat and helping it to thicken up. We're going to add some liquid into this to create our soup. We don't make canned soup here on It's Only Food. We just make our own from scratch. So I think what we're going to do next is we're going to probably add some Worcestershire. So we're going to add our corn, okay? We got frozen corn. We're going to add this to it to kind of get that started off. We don't want to add this to the, once we add the liquid, we don't want to add frozen vegetables because that just throws the timing off and the thickening up process gets stalled because we've added frozen. It's like throwing ice into hot water. So we'll get this in there and let that get a little warm and tepid before we add our milk. And get that, all those flavors marrying together too, and the textures. Then we're going to add our milk. I like to start out a little slow, a little small. We need to add more. We always can. We don't want to get it too thick. Because if we do get it too thick, we can always add more liquid. But we do this a little bit at a time. We can eyeball it. And just stir all this together. Still on medium, high heat. And cook it all together. We're going to let that sit and thicken a little bit. Not before we add our Worcestershire sauce. Just a little bit of this, probably about 2 or 3 tablespoons. Get that in there. And of course the chicken base. This is very important to have. This is what brings all those flavors together and adds a richness and a texture to the dish and erases the whole flavor of the flour. Or else this dish pretty much tastes like salt and pepper and flour and corn. You want to get a little bit of texture in there, so that's why the chicken base. Then we want to mix this all together. Get all those flavors to marry. You're going to keep heating this up until it's hot. Now I think what we're going to do now is we're going to pan this up into our disposable pan and then put it in the oven. Just stir this up one more time. Make sure we get all the big fat lumps out of there. Okay, that looks good. So you can see the roux is cooked. It slides right off the spoon, nice and thick. It's not runny. Alright, we're going to dump it right into the pan. Dump it right in there. I think what we're going to do next, add a little cheese in there. North Dakota and Wisconsin and Minnesota. I think the Wisconsin people like their cheese a little bit more. But my wife loves cheese. We're probably going to have this for dinner, so I threw some cheese on it because she loves cheese. And of course the thing that gave it the name, the tater tots, right on top there. Spread them out. Only one layer. You can layer them each if you roll OCD. You can always put them side by side like a brick. You're building a brick house or something, but we just throw them right on there. Don't press them into it, just set them on top. Then of course right on into the oven at 350. Make sure you slide your dish all the way into the back of the oven where the heat is, and don't check it. See, I got mine right there, but you want to push it all the way to the back. Here we got it, finished product. I'm going to pull this out and then we're going to plate it up. You want to make sure that cheese is bubbly in the middle, and don't set it on your counter because you'll have to get a new counter. Then you just kind of dish it up. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that all that cheese is melted and it's bubbling all around, not just the edges, but also into the center of the dish. You can see that if you pull some of those aside. But then you make sure it's hot, crispy. You can leave it in a little further if you like those tater tots to get crispy. You can leave it in just a little longer, or turn the oven up to about 450 for another 5 or 10 minutes. It's nothing like a soggy tater tot. Well, there it is. That's our tater tot hot dish, homemade, no canned soups. Just like we like it here on It's Only Food. Hope you make this at home. Enjoy it.
Appreciate you watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel right here, the address. Okay? And then share it with your friends on Facebook or Twitter or Stumble Upon or wherever else you go, Pinterest. We appreciate your watching us. We couldn't do this without you. And don't forget, when you're out eating, tell somebody that they're doing a great job. Have a good day, and thanks for watching It's Only Food.
These rappers don't listen, well let me show them something. You hear that beat bumping from the soul kitchen. Now what you fixing up? Good food, soul food, come and pick it up. These rappers don't listen, well let me show them something. You hear that beat bumping from the soul kitchen. Yeah, now what you fixing up? Good food, soul food, come and pick it up. Hey yo, I never been so paid that I could forget. All I could remember is the po days. Not a damn thing in that stove days. Turbulent home days. Sometimes I used to burn with my homemades. I'm still hiding them pearls and dropping them gems. Hatred, I took it out on the world. All I got in me is my balls and my honesty. Visions of the dynasty.